Hello. Today I'm going to be sharing a draft introduction to On Drafting. It's something I wrote a while ago and was rewriting today. I'm pretty sure this isn't going to be anything like what ends up being the final draft, what gets into the book. Instead, I'm going to share this with you as it stands and put a picture of the page up so you can see it in the blog. Here we go. Introduction. All sorts of writing gets written in all sorts of ways. Some writers' writing routines are as famous as they are. Proust, lying in bed in his cork-lined room, gluing new paragraphs into his already festooned manuscript. Or Flaubert, spending all day changing one adjective in one sentence, then changing it back the following morning. Or Jack Kerouac blazing through 8-hour typing jags, forcing On the Road onto his 120-foot-long scroll of paper. From outside, these forms of drafting may easily be seen as eccentricities or affectations. From the writer's point of view, from the page, they are simply what works for them. On Drafting is intended to be a book about what works. What works to get the writing out, get it better, get it finished. I'm basing what I say on my own experience of publishing around 17 books and drafting around 25, fiction, non-fiction, comics and diaries. But more than this, much more than this, I'm using my years of teaching, workshopping, mentoring. You can check the acknowledgements for where I did that. I know from that the right piece of advice received at the right time can make a book possible and sometimes even whisper it, make it easy. Recently, I went to an event where Gabriel Smith was speaking about his first novel, Brat. He said that he tried to make each scene be a reversal, laying low a character who'd been riding high or catapulting upwards one who'd been in the mud. He said this was an obvious thing to say, but it made me go, and I wrote a 40,000-word novella in 2 months. And that was an idea I'd had lying in a notebook for 12 years. I don't know you, unfortunately, and so I don't know what you're like as a person, or more importantly, what you're like as a writer. The first draft of that sentence read, "What kind of writer you are," but then I hesitated over whether I believed there are kinds of writer. I crossed out the line and rewrote it, so as to get closer to what I wanted to say, and now I'm in my usual state of wondering whether the change I've made is an improvement, and if so, is it the right sort of improvement? Writing can be too well written. Some of the worst writing I've read has been subject to a great deal of the wrong kind of attention, subject to second-guessing and fuss. My hesitation is that I do think there are kinds of things, kinds of writer, kinds of prose, kinds of attitude to writing prose. As a teacher, the worst danger is believing that just because a current student reminds you of a previous student, that the same advice that worked for one will work for the other. It's important to pay the closest attention you're capable of when reading someone's work and hearing what they say about it. In putting together On Drafting, I'm addressing you individually, but not everything here is right for you. I'll settle for one piece of advice sticking around with you and making a real difference for you. So there's where I am so far. I've got more, I'll carry on with that probably tomorrow. But there's things about it I'm not happy with. It seems a bit stiff and formal. It's part of the genre to say what your experience is and to talk about the number of books you've written and the amount of hours of teaching you've done. And I suppose I'll have to do that, but I feel slightly shamefaced as I do it. So that's where I am. Your reactions to it, your suggestions for where it could start instead. And I'm going to be, as I say, putting a page of this up on the site so you can see what it looks like, what my handwriting's like, what my crossings out are like, and so on. Thank you for listening. Please like, share and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon.